norm for us over here.
Awesome. We've got a couple of minutes, and then I'll start the recording, and we'll be live streaming over on YouTube, and we'll have a recording of that afterwards as well to send to you for your community and share with our community that can't join the live call today.
All right, definitely sounds good.
Is there anybody else that we need to unmute, Brian, from the team, or are you just? Will it just be you talking today?
We do have Stan and JP in the AMA with us. If we can unmute them as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, Stan, JP, guys, if you can raise your hand so you come to the top of the list, that'll make our jobs easier to unmute you guys. Just let me look through the list here. And we'll be muting the chat in just a minute here, guys, and we'll post all the official links. Everything will be right there in the main chat. Everybody can follow along as we're chatting, and towards the second half of the AMA, we'll take some community questions as usual. So stick around, and if you've heard something interesting, if you want to learn more about certain aspects, just raise your hands, and we'll do our best to unmute as many people as we can get time to. I don't see their hands up. Or Stan. Oh, there you go. I got Stan.
Yeah.
And JP. There we go. Yep. Yeah, we should have everybody now, Glenn. Yeah, good to go.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if everyone's ready, I can start the recording. We're just on the hour now. I can see you moving, Brian, but I can't hear you.
Glenn, yes, we're ready.
Oh, okay, awesome. Let's go then. Okay, good afternoon to the WorldCoin Talk community. Today we have an AMA with Radius Protocol. Radius Protocol's mission is to deliver highly advanced solutions that will push blockchain technology to the next level. We've got the first smart NFT scalping contract to talk about. That's got built-in panic control, free-tier Defcon anti-panic control system. We've got staking, swap, NFT marketplace, NFT creation tool, technical analysis university, fancy crypto tournaments, and more. So yeah, before we start going into the Radius Protocol, guys, if you could just give us a background and experience in the crypto space, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So myself, Stan, and JP, we have quite a lengthy background. Just being around in the crypto community. I am also an 18-year trading veteran myself, so it's a very decent skill set when it comes to designing blockchain technology systems and looking at different types of avenues with this type of technology. Just the ability to be able to dissect everything down to the smallest of details and have that analytical type of mindset that we tend to use over in a trading environment has been a really good strength for us. So yeah, we do come from some pretty good solid backgrounds when it comes to just being in trading environments.
Yeah, so yeah, if we can get an introduction into the Radius Protocol for investors and yeah, what you're building here in the project.
Yeah, so Radius Protocol, we are not just an individual project. We're actually a blockchain research and development firm. Our sole purpose is in finding limitations of current blockchain technology and looking for ways to expand upon the existing infrastructure and creating a much cleaner, more efficient type of blockchain. We are really trying to push this technology as far and as hard as we possibly can, and to come out with our own blockchain that is ultimately going to be much more efficient, less power consumption, and offer a lot of services as well as insane transaction speeds. So yeah, we are really here to just kind of look at everything and just really just see how far we can push this type of technology. It's absolutely amazing what can be done. We're still very much at the infancy stage when it comes to blockchain and crypto projects.
Right, yeah. So maybe if we can start with the first smart NFT scalping contract, how that works, and give us an introduction to that for investors.
So the NFT scalping system, this is actually one of our maybes. This is the first time that this has ever been done. Now, when we were designing the Radius Protocol project, we really wanted to take a look at a lot of different angles and to be able to provide just certain utilities. One of the avenues that we wanted to start providing utilities to was NFTs. I mean, we love NFTs. It's really awesome to have a lot of this artwork in your wallet. But what we wanted to do is push it a step further. We wanted to be able to create functioning art that served a massive purpose. And the NFT scalping system is actually a very genius type of system. This is the first time this has ever been done. So what the NFT scalpers are, 6% of every single sale goes into the NFT scalping pool. Now, our holders are going to have the opportunity to come in to rent or lease these NFT scalpers, to release their utility. Now, the NFT scalpers, they are directly in contact with the scalping pool. They work with the scalping pool. And as a holder, you have the opportunity to come in. You're going to be able to choose the time frame, as well as what percentage you would like your scalper to scalp out of the pool. That's going to determine the lease per month. So you can lease 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever the case may be. And once a week, what these NFT scalpers do is they go directly to the scalping pool and they scalp that percentage of tokens back into your wallet. So it really is a dual fold symbiotic relationship between our project and the community. It serves a couple purposes. It allows the community to really increase their reflection base in just a really cool type of way to be able to use the NFTs to rent those utilities, but it also allows for the project to raise additional capital. Now we can use that capital to further develop, and we can also get ourselves into the position where we do have the opportunity to do a lot of buybacks and burn those tokens off. So it's really a cool, interesting way to kind of give back to the community and also to help further develop the project.
I see, Brian. And who will be looking for the NFTs? Will it be like someone on the core team who'll look for valuable NFTs and ones that have got great utility, and then introducing that into the ecosystem for Radius Protocol?
Yeah, so the NFT scalpers, they are actually going to be on the NFT marketplace once everything is live, and they'll be nice and easy to find on there. So there'll be a few different NFTs in the collection. They will be labeled the NFT scalpers. Very easy for everybody to find. So yeah, they will be available. And once you guys lease them, you are renting the rights to those. Once the lease expires, they simply come right back to us and they get recycled and put back up on the marketplace.
I see. And what sort of prices will the NFTs be? And does it link in with NFT staking? And do you have like staking with the token as well?
Yeah, so the NFT scalpers, they're going to be several different prices, and like I said, it's going to really depend on the percentage as well as the time frame that you have chosen to lease. It's going to ultimately be the cost of renting or leasing that NFT. So they're going to be anywhere as low as $250, $300 a month, somewhere in there, and they could go up as high as several $1,000s per month.
And are the NFTs going to be on the AVAX blockchain, and will you be looking to go cross-chain and multi-chain in the future?
Correct. So right now they will be on the AVAX blockchain, and here in the near future we do have plans into bridging into other networks as well. So we'll kind of get to that bridge as we cross it on how to utilize the NFT scalpers and things of that nature when we are cross bridging.
Yeah, awesome. And you've got the free tier Defcon anti-panic control system built into the token on the Radius. So I was wondering, if you can explain that to our investors, how that works.
Yeah, so the RAD system, this is a very, very unique system. This is the first time that this has ever been done. What we did is we took just a idea that was really based on the stock market. We have been warning people for many, many, many years about how necessary having some type of safety mechanism or some type of safety blanket really is when it comes to trading. Crypto has been wide open without any type of safety, and every single market that has been successfully ran for many, many generations to some degree has some kind of safety net. We witnessed the why with what went down with Luna and USDT. So we really wanted to take a look at a lot of these other markets that have been ran successfully for many generations and hybrid a very innovative type of safety mechanism. And that's what the RAD system is. So the RAD Defcon system, what it is it's a 3-tier panic-controlled Defcon system. And it really was designed to alleviate a lot of the panic selling and just a lot of the paper handedness that happens in the crypto space. And to give you an idea how the RAD system would work, let's say the token hits an all-time high. Now, if that token price drops 15%, what's going to happen is Radius is going to initiate what's called a Defcon 1. Now, what a Defcon 1 does is it's going to initiate a halt on all selling for 1 hour. It's going to allow all buying. And that's the idea of the system. If the buyers step back in when there is some panic happening, more than likely, and psychologically, what we have seen through mountains and mountains of data in places like the stock market is it does tend to have a positive impact on what price is going to do. It allows cooler heads to prevail, people to really think about what they are doing. If they do, in fact, want to sell there, if they want to panic, whatever the situation is, it allows them to react logically and not so much emotionally, as when we're seeing some type of panic or death spiral happening. So the Defcon is going to get triggered. Now, it's going to stop all selling for an hour, like I said. It's going to allow all buying. Now, at the end of the hour, it's trading back to normal. You can sell as much as you want. You can buy as much as you want. However, if price drops an additional 10%, Radius is going to then initiate what's called Defcon 2. Now, Defcon 2 is identical to Defcon 1. It's just a 3-hour halt this time. It's the same thing. The system is going to try to allow the buyers to overtake the sellers. They're going to allow 3 full hours for the buyers to push price as far as they would like, and as hard as they would want. After the 3 hours expires, it's trading back to normal. You can buy as much as you want. You can sell as much as you want. However, if price drops another 10%, the big boy Defcon is going to be initiated, and that's Defcon 3. This time, the halting will be initiated for 6 hours. So there will be 6 hours of no selling. You can buy as much as you want. You can sell as much as you want. And you just kind of have to chill out on the selling for 6 hours. Now, once the Defcon 3 lapses, it's trading back to normal, and the system simply resets itself. So the way the system is designed is it's going to be calculating values. Our system, our contract is so smart that it tracks price every single tick. It knows where price is at any given moment of the day. And that's what it's doing. Our backend system is tracking price, and it is setting those values. So if we hit an all-time high, it's going to recalculate, set the values. If Defcon 3 ever was to get triggered, it also is going to recalculate those values on it's called the bottom side of the system. It's the bottom side of the Defcon system. So it's going to recalculate those values. So if you can imagine a block of support that moves up the chart with price and it moves down the chart with price, it's a fluid block of support. That's how the panic-controlled Defcon system is tracking price. It's going up, down. It's going up and down. And it's really just there to initiate a lot of and really just tackle a lot of the panic and that type of emotion that is in these types of markets.
Awesome, Brian. Yeah, it seems a great idea and very fair for investors, and they'll be happy that them safeguards are in place. For some newer investors that, like you say, they panic sell, panic buy, and yeah, it gets a bit silly in crypto. And but AVAX is a very strong blockchain as well. I don't think it's as paper handy as the BSC. You know, it's the Wild West, we call it here. But then going into the buy and sell tax, so there's no tax on the buy, and you've got 17% tax on the sell. Can we do a breakdown for investors where that tax goes? And you've also got the paper hand penalty tax, which is an additional 17%. And where will then profits go? Will the investors get some of that back as well?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So there is no tax on buys. There is a 17% tax on the sell side. Now, the way that this breaks down is we have 1% that goes to our Geocache wallet, which I'll get into here in a brief second. 2% is destroyed forever. It's actually burnt. Our contract actually takes those tokens and physically burns them. They just don't. It just doesn't go to a dead wallet. It actually physically gets destroyed, which is kind of very unique about the smart contract. Is it's actually really destroying those tokens. So 2% is burnt. 3% goes to the blockchain research and development fund. 6% goes to the NFT scalpers, and I think that's it. I think that's the breakdown. And yeah, there is a paper hand penalty tax. If you open a brand new position and you sell within a month's time frame, there's an additional 17%. Now, where that 17%, that additional paper hand penalty tax goes to, is it goes to the staking reserve buffer pool. So we have a hyper deflationary model. We wanted to continue to be able to hyper deflate, but we also wanted to add staking. So we came up with a very, very genius solution to just staking contracts having to mint so much supply. So what we did is we took that paper hand penalty tax, we added it to a buffer, and now the contract is set to pull from this buffer pool first before it even attempts to mint any type of supply to allocate to interest owed. So it's a way for us to really combat just the amount of tokens that need to be minted in a staking contract. So it's a very happy medium.
And is this contract, smart contract, unique, or has it been built in-house, outsourced?
So this smart contract has been built from ground up. It is absolutely 100% brand new. There's so many utilities with this project that have not been seen yet. So we are contracted with one of the brightest, one of the most sophisticated blockchain research and development company crews in the world. To date, we have about 206 individuals that are working with us full-time on this project. So we have quite the crew with us.
And that you've had like over 206 people have worked with you in the past on projects like Hex as well, the back-end team.
Correct. Yes. So our back-end team has quite the portfolio. They have done a lot of work with companies and projects like Hex, to name one. There's quite a few other big projects that they have worked on. They're doing a lot of stuff with Pulse Chain communities, things like that right now. So yeah, they are very well known, very respected individuals in this space.
So how many people are actually working on Radius protocol, like the core team and then the extended team, mods, admins?
Yeah, so our core team, we're actually really small, and we kind of like to keep it that way as far as the core team goes. You know, unfortunately, with this type of environment, there's a lot of pirating, there's a lot of front running, things of that nature. So we wanted to keep our core team very tight to the chest. We do have a very large extended team. Our extended team is roughly about 206 individuals that have so far worked on this project, and that number is growing all the time. So we're working with a lot of blockchain developers, Web3, graphic designers, legal specialists, and it just keeps growing day by day. We keep bringing. Seems we're bringing more people in almost every single day.
Awesome, Brian. And yeah, you did mention before the Geocache wallet. Can we go into that for investors?
Glenn, I kind of missed that. You broke up a little bit. Can you repeat that?
We touched on the Geocache wallet. Yeah, if we can go into that for investors.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Geocache wallet, this is the first time this has ever been done. What it is, it's a treasure chest that we built for the community. 1% of every single sale goes to the Geocache wallet. Now, we have a very clever, very unique type of staking system that the Geocache wallet kind of ties into. So our staking is actually a tier-based system. So not only do you get staking rewards, inside those tiers, there are NFT reward bonuses. So if you qualify for an NFT, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get an NFT reward bonus that is artwork, or you're going to get a coveted Geocache wallet key phrase word. Now, once somebody or a group or anybody has all these keywords to the wallet, that wallet is then yours to crack, and you are able to transfer all of that built up transaction over that period of time and transfer those reflections to your own wallet. Once that does happen, we'll create a new wallet and simply start the process over again. So the Geocache wallet is really just a really cool way for us to additionally reward our stakers.
And going back to the NFTs, you're going to have an NFT creation tool. Will that mean people can mint their own NFT series in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we do have our very own NFT marketplace where you are able to take the NFTs that you have received from staking and put those up for auction by either buy now or as an auction format. And we also do have our very own NFT creation tool where you're going to be able to come in and create just about any NFT from multiple files, multiple formats, and any quantity that your so heart desires, which is just really convenient for you guys to be able to have a really cool, quick, easy place to get your work up to market.
Awesome. And then you're building a technical analysis university. I'm wondering if that's going to be audio or video courses. And some of these utilities as well, you do need to hold a certain amount of tokens to access them.
Correct. So we're going to have a baseline minimum amount of tokens that our holders will need to hold in order to access our utilities. And yes, we do have our very own technical analysis university that has been created by myself, as well as a few other very savvy, very oriented traders, both of crypto, stock, and options. So we have a very robust crew that has come together to create this technical analysis university. Now, Glenn, the technical analysis university is actually really cool how this is formulated and set up. So they're actually NFTs themselves. So when you purchase a technical analysis university module, they are in video format and with audio. The contract is going to mint you an NFT key. Now, that key is going to give you access to that module on the website. And once you are done with that module, you're then able to pass that key along to somebody else if you so choose. So it's a good way to just kind of pass the generosity down and further education down through the community. So yeah, the Technical Analysis University is extremely, extremely robust. We already have a lot of content created, and there will be a lot more along the way.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to, improve investors' performance in stock, and then going into, obviously, they can learn as well through the fantasy crypto tournaments you're planning.
Yeah, so the Technical Analysis University is actually going to be an asset with one of our other utilities that we do offer. Now, this is something that our team is extremely proud of. It's the first time this has ever been done. What we have done is we have created what's called fantasy crypto. We have done a lot of research just on crypto holders' behaviors, their demographics, activities that they like to partake in outside of crypto investing. And what we found is that, believe it or not, a lot of crypto holders, they are really into fantasy sports. So we decided to take and hybrid the fantasy sport logic and blend that with a crypto background. So we produced the very, very first fantasy crypto. Now, if you guys love fantasy football or fantasy sports, you're absolutely going to love fantasy crypto. It's almost the same thing. Just like in fantasy sports, where you get to build your own roster. You get to pick your quarterback, your wide receiver, your tight ends, all that fun stuff, and build your own team and compete for a chance to win prizes. Fantasy crypto is set up almost exactly the same. You get to choose your favorite cryptos, or the cryptos that you think are going to perform the absolute best in the allotted tournament time frame, and you get to build out your own roster, and you have a chance to compete against the community for crypto prizes. If you make it into the money in the tournament, you will have a chance to win a percentage of the prize pool. The further you make it into the money, the better the prize you're going to receive from that tournament prize pool. So it was a very cool way, a very clever, fresh way to bring the community together. And it really just serves a dual purpose. It's going to be a lot of fun for everybody to compete, to play the fantasy crypto, but it's also going to inspire people to further their education. Individuals that are partaking in the fantasy crypto, they're going to more than likely want to go out and do the research to figure out what cryptos are going to give them an edge in the tournament and ultimately win. So the Technical Analysis University is really there to really give you the foundations and a lot of tricks of the trade. And the fantasy crypto is really there to really allow you to have just a pretty cheap way to practice a lot of these type of strategies. So it's very much a symbiotic relationship between the Technical Analysis University and the fantasy crypto.
And I think you're going to have prizes as well for the fantasy crypto tournaments. You're going to do like weekly and monthly tournaments, and what sort of prizes can investors win?
Yeah, Glenn. So there's going to be quite a few different tournaments ran. So we can do anywhere from a day time frame all the way up to a year if we wanted to. So there's going to be a lot of different time periods for these tournaments that are being ran. And there is an entry fee to enter a pool. Now, those entry fees are going to be used to build that prize pool. So depending on the size of the tournament that you enter is ultimately going to determine how big of a prize pool there is with these tournaments. So we're going to have a bunch of different types of tournaments. There's going to be some that are really cheap. They might only be a couple bucks to enter. There'll be some other tournaments that are a lot more expensive, $25, $50, $100 to enter. Maybe we might go up as high as $250, $500. That's the really cool thing and the fluid thing about the fantasy crypto is we can basically build out these tournaments in these brackets just as cheap or as expensive or as big as we'd like to.
Awesome, Brian. And your main goal is to raise enough funding to start building your very own layer one blockchain. And I think you've chose the Rust code. I was wondering why you chose the Rust code over other codes out there.
Yeah, so Glenn, that is our ultimate goal, is to really get our own layer one blockchain to market. What we are doing right now is we're looking at a lot of limitations of current blockchain technology, and we are looking for solutions to make a much more efficient type of blockchain. And to kind of give you a breakdown without geeking out too hard on you guys, everything really starts at the layer base one. Everybody knows Bitcoin. Bitcoin was developed and written in what's called C++. C++ is a much more ancient type of computer coding language. It's kind of part of the reason why Bitcoin is historically very slow. There's other things going on there as well, consensus model, that sort of thing. But the layer one coding is kind of a slower language. So when Ethereum came out, what happened was Gavin Wood and the crew had to create something a little more efficient to talk to the Ethereum virtual machine. So they went to the drawing board and they created what's called Solidity. Now, Solidity it's an amazing language. You can do a lot with Solidity. You can do a lot, a ton with Solidity. The problem with Solidity is it does have a tendency to produce digital waste. It's because of the fact that Solidity communicates away from the machine. It's above the machine level. And because of that, there is a lapse. And what we end up ultimately seeing is kind of this bottleneck effect. That's why certain points of the day, certain points of the weekend, you start to see gas fees really creeping up on something like Ethereum. It's because that base layer one is written in Solidity, and it's having a hard time handling the amount of transactions that are coming through the network. So now what has to happen is layer two developers have to come in and figure out ways to take load off of the network to keep those transactions going through smoothly. We want to do things much more efficiently. We really wanted to tackle that type of transaction speed, gas fee type of issue right at the base layer one. So what we have done is we have looked at a lot of different ways to do this, and we have ultimately decided that the absolute best way is to write in a much more efficient type of language. It's an extremely complex type of language. There's really only about 20 people worldwide that are fluent enough to code out in this specific language. Now, we haven't secured one, we actually secured 2 individuals that are able to code out in Rust as fluently as we are going to need. And we've also have secured a world-class layer 1 blockchain architect. So we will be writing this layer 1 out in Rust. Now, the trade-off is we are now on the machine level. We don't have that lapse. We're not going to have the same type of digital waste. And we're estimating that we're going to be able to achieve somewhere between a 50,000 and a 100,000 TPS, or transactions per second, just off the layer base 1. That's not including any type of layer 2 developers coming in and assisting with taking a load off the network. So we are really looking to produce a lightning fast layer 1 blockchain out of the gate.
That's super, Brian. Yeah. I mean, is that why you chose AVAX? That's quite unique, and it's got some great features. I'm quite excited about AVAX myself, and invested there.
Well, we chose AVAX with this project. So the Radius Protocol project really is our way of just bringing the community together at a early stage. We really wanted to hit the ground running. And the idea was to get this project out here to kind of showcase the team's innovation, our ability to produce, and start bringing everybody in. And we decided to launch on AVAX because it's just such a cool network. We absolutely love Avalanche. We love their vision. They very much share a lot of the same ideologies as we do. AVAX is very solution oriented. We're also very solution oriented. But what our ultimate goal is to migrate everybody from the AVAX into our own blockchain when that does happen.
Okay, super. And I'm wondering if you're looking to make a governance token with a DAO and voting rights as well with the token.
So we're looking at a lot of different things right now. There is a lot of research going on the back end with Radius. So we're looking at several things: governance tokens, algorithmic tokens, things of that nature. So we're just trying to sit down right now, get as much research as we possibly can, look at where a lot of technology is a little bit weak, and look to find solutions and expand on that. Now, we do have a lot of solutions. We have found a lot of limitations already. So we do have quite a few solutions that are already on the drawing board that we know we are capable of delivering. There's a few solutions that we are looking at developing that are going to take a little more time. We're actually going to have to develop brand new technology, pioneer brand new technology in order to achieve one of the solutions to limitations that we are really looking to deliver. One of the biggest limitations that we have just worldwide is the amount of people that are currently offline without internet access whatsoever. There's about 37% of the population that does not have internet access. It equates to about 3.7 billion people. Active crypto user base is right around 3%. It's about 300 million and some change. What we are really trying to do with this blockchain is we are trying to innovate brand new technology that is going to allow us to not have to be 100% internet reliant all the time, and have the ability to branch in to the 37% that is currently offline. So what we are essentially trying to do is we are trying to grow total crypto market capitalization. And in essence, we're trying to be an acting bridge to growing that type of capitalization. Now, if we can do that, not only are we going to have a reach advantage, we're actually going to be able to allow other networks to share that type of reach advantage. So we're really not trying to compete with other networks. We're actually trying to set Radius up as an acting bridge and form these just really awesome symbiotic relationships with other networks. And as we all have the same goal is bringing more and more people into crypto, we are wanting to use our reach advantage in order to do that. So that is one of the solutions that we are really, really looking very deep into right now.
Okay, awesome, Brian. And Where are we at for investors? Is it a private sale, pre-sale? How can investors get involved with the Radius protocol?
Glenn, so we are doing things a little bit different with the Radius project. We're not doing a typical ICO. We're doing what's called a crypto sacrifice. And it's still pretty new out there. There's a lot of people that understand what they are, what they entail. And there's also a lot of people that don't understand what a crypto sacrifice is. And guys, what a crypto sacrifice is it's a way for the community to support innovation, to support the project, their vision, their mission, to be a part of a political stance and something that they believe in. What a crypto sacrifice does is it really takes all expectation of profit off the table. It kind of forces the community to be more focused on the utility and the services and ultimately what the project is attempting to do in the future. The crypto sacrifice is very, very necessary with what we are dealing with potential SEC regulations and things of that nature. It's a way to keep the project safe and the community safe as well. One of the things that the SEC, and really the only things that they really do latch on when it comes to regulation, is the fact that there's an expectation of profit that's placed on the table. So what a crypto sacrifice does is it really takes a utility token and it puts it in the heart of what a utility token is really meant to be, a cryptocurrency, internally based, acting based currency. And it really separates utility token from any chance of it being a security token. So that is one way that projects are starting to move through the space and really just separating themselves from the fact that they are not a security token.
Okay, Brian, awesome. And how can investors get involved with the sacrifice and earn points from that going into the future? And when's the sort of timeline for the launch for the Radius protocol?
Yeah, so our crypto sacrifice is directly on our website. You will see on the navigation panel, whether that is the interactive navigation panel or the navigation panel that's in the footer, there's a link for the crypto sacrifice. You can do it one of two ways. So you can actually connect directly with your wallet. So if you choose your network, you connect, you're going to be able to patch into the website. We do accept multiple different tokens across different networks. So if you're going to use different networks, you're going to have to toggle in between your wallet. So you can do it that way. There's also the manual way that you can copy paste the wallet address into your wallet and send it that way manually. We do offer a 10% bonus for AVAX and HEX, just FYI.
I think I was looking at the Telegram, and you can actually, join the community and get points from a sacrifice as well.
Yeah, so we have quite a few different types of bonuses. We've got individual volume bonuses. So depending on how much you do sacrifice, there's an additional bonus for that. We also have community milestone bonuses. So depending on how much the community as a whole sacrifices, there's additional bonuses for the entire community. So yeah, it's really quite the cool sacrifice type of setup. There's a lot of bonuses. And yeah, we hope to see a lot of people participating. And the more people that participate, the more that we can do for the community.
Okay, great. And has the smart contract been audited, or is that coming closer to launch?
So this project is so massive. We actually have not one. We have 6 different smart contracts that are all working in conjunction to make this project happen. We also have a lot of on-chain and off-chain back-end technology working together in order to make these systems happen. We actually had to custom build a back-end system to be able to handle a lot of the data fetching and what is needed to run the RAD system, things of that nature. So the main contract has been audited. It's gone through all the audit processes. Any bugs, any errors, anything like that has been already resolved. That is on the website. You will also see any of the fixes to those issues. There's very few issues. There's only a handful. And they're mostly minor. So those did get fixed. Now, the additional 5 other smart contracts, they have been audited. Everything is ready to go with those. We have not deployed those yet. We're kind of camping on them a little bit in case we want to add any more bells and whistles to these additional contracts for you guys. So our additional smart contracts that need to be deployed, they are governing and running a lot of the utility that comes with the platform. So we're kind of going through everything and kind of just looking if there's anything else that we can add, anything that we can make better, things of that nature. So, but they are ready to go. If we had to, we could deploy those contracts and be ready to rock and roll within 15 minutes if we needed to.
Brian, and how does the tokenomics break down? Is there some put aside for the team? Is there vesting periods? Some for central exchanges? How's it work?
Yeah, so the tokenomics model, there's 17% sale on, or tax on sale, excuse me, and only 3% of that tax is going back to the blockchain development wallet. The rest of that is being divvied up between the community somehow, some way, whether that be the NFT scalpers, whether that be directly reflected back to the community, the Geocache wallet. The majority of that tax is being reflected back to the community. So as far as vesting, things of that nature, the team wallets, core team wallets, are going to be locked for a good period of time, 3 years. We are not vesting anybody that is partaking in the crypto sacrifice. We don't want to lock anybody down. We firmly believe in our utilities. We know that we are going to have a lot of people sticking around to use what the project offers. So we're not just some meme hype token, that's looking to do a quick 10, 15x. This is a long-term project with a very long-term vision. So we weren't too concerned about vesting the initial partakers in the crypto sacrifice. So yeah, to answer your question, Glenn, there's no vesting with the community. Team wallets, core team wallets are locked. We do have a couple private investors that will be vested to only being able to sell a certain allotted amount per month, and it's going to be 10%.
Awesome. Yeah, I can see it's a huge project. It's great you came to us today to show our community investors. I'm wondering what partnerships you're building as well around the Radius protocol, who you've been approaching, and what's planned in the future.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Glenn. Could you repeat that? You broke up just a little bit on me.
Sorry. Yeah, I was asking about the partnerships you're building around the Radius protocol and what's planned in the future.
Oh, we're constantly looking for partnerships and networking with other projects. We're in contact with Avalanche, AVAX Labs right now. So we're looking at a lot of these partnerships and going forward, and the whole logic behind our own blockchain and forming these relationships with these other networks. I mean, that is going to be a key pivotal point for this project. We really want to start bringing people together. We don't believe in this whole war, this whole enemy type of mindset that a lot of projects have with each other. When the truth is, at the end of the day, if everybody starts working together, we leverage each other's skill sets, use each other's resources, that's when the magic really starts happening. And we really want to start bringing these networks together and just really pushing this technology as far and as hard as we possibly can. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg of what this technology is really capable of doing. There's a lot more applications with blockchain technology than just financial markets. And so it's going to open up a whole different arena for a lot of innovators, for a lot of different companies, if we really just sit down and start pushing this and looking at where we can improve. We're still very, very much in our infancy stage with crypto, and we're really in a very cool spot at this point and at this juncture in this space. We're all blessed. I mean, we are going to be watching and witnessing a lot of really cool potentially changes that are going to happen, but we're going to be able to watch just the baby learn to crawl, walk, and then ultimately run. So it's going to be very exciting watching how things unfold just in the space in the next 5-10 years. We're very, very excited for it.
Awesome, Brian. Going back to the blockchain layer one, we did have Monero in recently, and the anonymity is built into their blockchain, and that's what you was looking to build into your blockchain in the future.
Yes, we definitely are looking at a lot of privacy factors. It's kind of with what we're trying to do and the way that blockchains are typically ran right now. There's some issues and some safety concerns, some potential safety concerns that we do need to address, especially with the way that technology is advancing and the future and the direction that the crypto marketplace is going to be going, we have to take a look at a few things. Now, most blockchains are primarily ran with a wide open public ledger, and it's kind of almost a 50-50 flip. A lot of people love a wide open public ledger because they can see every transaction that happens. However, a lot of other people do not like that type of network because it does have a few safety concerns. With the advancements of software and technology, what we're starting to see right now is a lot of very skilled companies and even some really skilled hackers. They're able to piece these transaction bread trail crumbs of clues together, and a lot of times they are able to expose people's IP addresses. So those are some safety concerns that we need to really address. And that's one of the directions and one of the utilities that we really want to kind of have in this blockchain. If we don't make it 100% private, we at least want to give the community the opportunity to have their privacy back. So we would love nothing more than to really just have that peace of mind for our holders and for our ecosystem.
Awesome, Brian. And yeah, what's the marketing plans going forward? Are you looking to go to crypto conventions and get the Radius protocol name out there?
Yeah, we're definitely looking to just do a lot of brand awareness. We are a lot of word of mouth by now, right now, and we're just doing a lot of AMAs. We're just really bringing eyes onto the project. We're talking to different types of potential partnerships, different projects, things of that nature. So marketing plans going forward, we know that because we have so much utility out of the box with the project that it's going to cater and tailor to a lot of people. It's very rare this day and age when you see a project that comes out with this type of utility. Usually what happens is most projects come out, then they raise the funding, then they start building utilities. We took a different approach here. We actually came out with utilities first. So it's kind of a different ballgame with us. We have absolutely locked and loaded utility with the Radius protocol project. So, and we'll be developing a lot more. We do know that with our ability to produce, to innovate, that we're going to be bringing a lot of people in just by word of mouth. Now, we are also doing paid traffic campaigns, things of that nature, and we're constantly looking at different angles, different approaches to create extra brand awareness. So we take those opportunities when we see them, and if the data and the math adds up and there is a positive ROI, because at the end of the day, that's what your ad spend is about. It's you need a positive ROI, or you're not going to have any ROI or any ad spend to deal with going forward. So if the math adds up, if it makes sense, we are definitely all about pushing brand awareness.
Okay, great, Brian. Let's open it up to the rest of the team. If anyone's got a question for Brian at Radius Protocol, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Glenn, I was listening in and I love what I'm hearing. I know probably a lot of people recommended the Avalanche subnets, but by the looks of it, you guys are going for something a little bit more complex and more specific, so I can definitely relate to that. And it's good to have people building something solid, something new, and not be afraid of layer ones, when it comes to creating something super robust. And again, yeah, with the sacrificing concept, that's pretty nifty for people. But I'm just curious about two things about the tokens. One, you've mentioned earlier some form of recycling the tokens to the staking pool, and I'm not sure if I got it right. Is this correct? Like the contract will only mint a certain amount to kind of top up whatever is needed, but there will be a pool of tokens from which you will draw, and that's I don't know, is the pool created by the tax on the token, and then it draws from there to use on your platform, and you will only mint when it's needed, so to speak.
Yeah, so the way that the contract is set up is we have what's called a paper hand penalty tax. So if you open a position and if you close that position or you sell any of that position within 1 month time frame, there's an extra 17% tax that's applied to that. Now, where that 17% tax goes to is it goes to that reserve pool that you were speaking of, that staking reserve pool. So now what the contract is going to do, what the staking mechanism is going to do, is it's going to pull from the reserve pool first to cover everybody's interest. Now, once the reserve pool is drained, the contract is then set up to mint new supply to cover interest on those stakes. So what we have done is we have created a buffer pool that's going to still allow the token to hyperdeflate while we're able to offer a staking type of mechanism. Typically what happens with a staking type of contract is we're seeing a lot of supply that is coming into the chain because of the amount of interest the contract has to mint in order to cover those stakes. Now we're still able to hyperdeflate, and we're able to offer staking. So it's kind of best of both worlds. It was a very clever way in order for us to reward our long-term holders.
Yeah, it sounds like a very ingenious way of going about it, to be honest. I like it. And you're also talking about the Defcon 1, Defcon 2, Defcon 3s and all that. So there's going to be like sort of an incentive for people not to sell or not to dump huge positions. But I'm wondering, during these phases, the Defcons, will there be sort of any incentives planned? Maybe give people, I don't know, a bonus on their tokens, or if they buy during a Defcon 3, say, over a certain amount, they get perks or anything like that? Do you have this kind of incentives planned?
Yeah, so what we're actually planning on doing with the DevComs, and it's a very genius way to go about what we are attempting to do here. So when a DevCom is triggered, you know, there's a lot of people that are definitely going to be okay with some type of halting mechanism. We've been asked this question a lot, and some people are concerned that maybe a halting mechanism might scare some people, but we have to look at things that have happened in something like Luna and USDT. That is a prime example of what can go wrong and how fast things can go wrong when there's not a safety mechanism in place. So we're actually coming in at a very good time with this type of model. Yes, it's brand new. It's never been done before. So everybody's afraid of new things, but I really do believe that this is going to, at the end of the day, cause a lot of confidence in people. I do think it's going to help the community. Now, to answer your question, as far as rewards go, if a DEFCON is triggered, the way the NFT scalping system is set up and how we're going to be able to raise passive residual income month after month after month after month using the NFT scalpers, it's going to allow us to do a couple things. We're going to be able to continue to raise capital to allow us to continue to develop the project, but we're also going to be able to be there to buy back some tokens and do some burns. Now, everybody is huge on burning tokens, and most projects, what they're burning is total supply. Total supply does not have that much factor on price. It really doesn't do a whole lot. We will be burning circulating supply, which is a whole different ballgame. Now that will have a factor on price. So with the burning, what we're going to be able to do with the NFT scalpers, with the income that we are raising, it's very, very much a symbiotic relationship between the project and the community. We are able to leverage our total supply to raise additional capital. Imagine doing a second offering, just like they do in the stock market. Essentially, that is what we are doing. And now we're going to have this income sitting over here that we can actually do stuff with. We can use it to develop. And if we start to notice that price is starting to get out of check a little bit, we can start to do buybacks and start to help really take a look at those areas of support that the RAD system is initiating. And we can actually come in and try to help further those support levels.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. It sounds exciting. So not only that people will be incentivized to hold, they know that there are these mechanics and the works in the background that will push on some more volume into the chart, so to speak. So it sounds really good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the Defcon system is a great idea. Like you say, it's in the FTSE 100 and the Dow Jones, and most stock exchanges, they have circuit breakers between the day if it drops precipitously, in a short period of time. So yeah, it's a great idea to bring that into crypto. So crypto will probably overtake the stock exchange one day and be all digital.
Yeah, we definitely agree, Glenn. The crypto space really needs to kind of open their eyes to just how powerful emotion really is. I mean, fear and greed in any type of financial market is an absolute destroyer. If we take a look at Luna and USDT, if they would have had some type of safety mechanism, I think they would have had a pretty good chance of salvaging that project. But because we were dealing with a double death spiral, we had a death spiral on Luna and we had a death spiral on USDT, that amount of panic, it was just too much to deal with. And I do think that if they would have had some type of safety mechanism that they could have at least salvaged that project, we probably would have seen some type of price decline, but it wouldn't have been to the extent that this many people have been hurt. Because watch how this would have worked. If they would have had a safety mechanism on Luna and USDT, they could have simultaneously halted those projects. Okay. So now instead of having to mint Luna to burn USDT, they're halted. So now there's no minting of Luna, which is diluting price. There's no selling in Luna, which is declining price even further. And they're not having to burn all that USDT. So what they could have done is halted it. Then they could have taken the reserves from the reserves and pumped that back into USDT, reestablishing the peg and then burning that. If they would have been able to do that, that would have nipped the panic right in its tracks. And I think that they would have been able to salvage that whole ecosystem just by having a safety mechanism. So yeah, they really showed us really what we've been warning people over for many years, that crypto does in fact need some type of safety mechanism. It's like skydiving without a parachute. So we have to really start taking a look at what is happening in a space and learn from those mistakes. What happened with Luna was absolutely horrendous. It just showed us no matter how big a project is, that everything is able to collapse, and literally overnight. We just witnessed one of the biggest, best blockchains have a complete colossal collapse overnight. So I hope that everybody's eyes are open to the fact that, safety mechanisms are in fact a good thing. It doesn't take away from any type of, decentralization or anything like that. That is just a smart project looking out and trying to protect the community.
Definitely, Brian. Yeah, I think it was a Lehman Brothers moment for crypto. Yeah, and it was huge, and it knocked everyone's confidence. Maybe Bitcoin went down far lower than it would normally, because it's never gone below the last ATH, which was 217, around 20K. I think it landed about 17.7K, but it's doing okay now. So yeah, it was knocked people's confidence, because it's meant to be a stable coin. And I think they were only a few months away from fixing it, because someone mentioned these problems in December, January, February, and he panicked and looked, and there was some system coming in. But unfortunately, in April, May, we had the huge collapse, and he was 2 months away from actually covering a lot more liquidity for Luna and the system as well. So yeah, it was very unfortunate. You can't predict sort of bull markets and bear markets, but the safety wasn't built in there. Unfortunately, his algorithms weren't right for how that works. I think BUSD and USDC, is backed by deposits in banks, which is far safer than what they were building there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It was definitely a massive eye opener to a lot of people. And, there's a lot of things that are really being looked at in regards to how that all happened. But, at the end of the day, we have to look at it. We have to be honest about it, and we have to develop solutions so that those types of things do not happen again. We still are very much growing and just very much at the beginning point of crypto. I mean, this is a brand new technology still. And so there's going to be situations where there's going to be some not so great things happen. That's just how this industry is going to have to grow. So, as long as we have people that are stepping up, learning from it, producing those types of solutions and taking a look at what's working and what's not working, I do really believe that we have a extremely bright future in the crypto industry.
Yeah, there's always going to be black swans and white swans, just like the stock exchange gets, and these things happen. We just got to move on. But let's open it up to community investor questions. Let's see. Sayed, you had a question for Brian at Radius Protocol. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. Okay, so you discussed about the RAD system, which is a time-based three-tier Defcon panic control system. So I want to understand that once the first halt is over and trading is back to normal, what is the time frame after the halt is over, during which the price drop of 10% will trigger Defcon 2 and then the Defcon 3?
So, Syed, the way the system, the DEFCON system is set up, so once that first DEFCON is initiated, there's really not going to be a set time frame on that next DEFCON. So it's going to know where that level is. So after the DEFCON 1 expires, right, and it's trading back to normal, that second level is going to remain in play. The way the system is set up is it's going to be recalculating values on the top end, which is an all-time high. It'll also recalculate values on the bottom end, the third DEFCON. So if that gets reset or that gets triggered after that 6-hour time lapses on the DEFCON 3, it would then recalculate those values again. So the middle layer actually does not have a time frame on it.
Okay, so once the DEFCON 1 is initiated, even if the coin regains or achieves new all-time highs, then the second DEFCON will be initiated, or it will be the first DEFCON that will be initiated again?
So, yeah, after 24 hours, the system will reset, if that's what you're asking. So, yeah, after 24 hours, the model is designed to reset, recalculate values. So let's say that the DEFCON was triggered, DEFCON 1, and let's say price gets pushed back up. If it never does come down to that DEFCON 2, 24 hours after that first initial DEFCON is triggered, it would then recalculate the values. So there's an all-time high recalculation. There's a 24-hour recalculation after the layer or DEFCON 1 is triggered. And there's also a recalculation of values after a DEFCON 3 would be triggered.
Got it. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, moving to my next question. So you mentioned about this Geocache wallet. So I want to understand that how many total key phrases word will be required for having the access to this wallet, and when staking, how often will holders be dropped with these key phrases?
So there's going to be 12 key phrase words with that Geocache wallet, and it is a complete random draw when it comes to the NFT reward bonuses on the staking mechanism. So it's going to be a random draw. You're either going to get an NFT that's artwork, or you'll get a Geocache wallet. So they're just going to be mixed in there. The system just mixes them and randomly draws as people are staking. So you as an individual can come in and try to earn as many keywords as you can. There's more than likely probably going to be some groups that'll be working together to try to crack that wallet, and that's absolutely fine. So, yep, it's just 100% random draw.
Okay, got it. And will users who are staking more amount of the tokens, will they have higher chances of getting these key phrases, or all will have equal and random chances?
So they will have an equal chance for the Geocache wallet. If you're staking a higher amount, what you will have is a much rarer NFT as artwork. So you'll have an opportunity to draw a very rare NFT as opposed to some of the lower tiers.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you also mentioned about this NFT creation tool. So it got me thinking that will users also be able to create 3D and interactive NFTs using this tool?
Yeah, so that NFT creation tool is going to be supporting multiple file formats. So yes, it's going to allow you to create those types of NFTs. If you have that file and it's ready to go, you can upload it into the NFT creation tool, and your NFT is now able to be placed on the marketplace.
Okay, got it. Okay, question now relating to your university. So I was thinking that will the sessions which will be offered through your university, will they be only for the expert traders, or there will also be session for the beginners who want to get into the trading?
Said, can you repeat that for me, please? I kind of missed a little bit of that question.
Yes, I can repeat that. So sessions that the university will be offering, will they be only for the expert traders, or the new or the beginners who want to get into the trading can also learn from these sessions?
Awesome question. So yes, the Technical Analysis University is extremely robust. It tackles all the way from very introductory type of level all the way to more advanced type of topics. So we have some topics in there that are just really tailored for newer traders. We also have topics in there that are tailored for more advanced type of traders. So there is a ton of information that we've already produced. Now, once we do go live with that TA University, that's going to be accessible to everybody, and we'll continue to produce more and more content on there. So yes, to answer your question, that TA University really is capable of helping all sorts of different traders from different types of backgrounds and at different educational levels.
Okay, understood. Okay, so will there be any other courses other than trading as well, like programming language courses, maybe Rust programming courses?
So we have been asked that question quite a few times, and we are looking at possibly adding more types of content on there outside of trading. So we're actually working with some of my own personally favorite New York Times bestselling authors and trying to get a lot of their information and their education and a lot of their self-help and personal growth types of books and knowledge on there as well. So we're looking at a lot of different things right now to even add more value to the TA University outside of just technical analysis.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much for explaining, and best of luck. Over to you, Glenn.
Sai, thank you.
Thank you for the question, Syed. Let's move on to Aisha. You had a question for Brian at Radius Protocol. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Okay, on your white paper, it's written that you are in the process of engineering a solution that will utilize different technologies to spread your ability to reach more people that do not have an internet connection. I want to understand that what technologies are you looking into to spread your blockchain ability to reach 37% of the world population that suffers from internet limitation, because this will revolutionize the entire crypto.
Aisha, that is an absolute amazing question, and we do get asked this quite often. Unfortunately, because of NDAs that are in place, we cannot disclose that type of information. As you just stated, it will revolutionize the entire crypto space. What we are attempting to do and develop is never, ever probably even thought of before. And it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of just some of the brightest minds in the world to make this happen. So we are still in the research phase of doing this. Now, we do have some very good ideas of how to make this happen. And it is an extremely, extremely complex thing to do in order to reach out to individuals that do not have internet access, to take a technology that is primarily ran online and to be able to offer an option to where it does not have to always be online. It is a completely different ball game. And like I said, we do have NDAs in place. We can't get into the absolute scope of how we are planning to attempt this feat.
Okay, that's totally understandable. Okay, I was also thinking that will you going to get patent for your new blockchain technology to prevent the forks or copying?
So that is an absolutely amazing question. So one of the things that we are very, very passionate about is just not having the ability to allow people to pirate or steal other people's contracts, smart contracts, things of that nature. Anybody can copy and paste code. Okay, anybody can copy and paste somebody else's smart contract and add a different quantity in there, change the name, build a website around it. That is not development. That is not innovation. With the blockchain that we are producing, we want to initiate what's called a copyright clause. You're not going to just be able to copy somebody else's contract and deploy it onto the network. We want to be able to be there to protect our layer 2 developers' intellectual property. So we don't want to see a bunch of people pirating and deploying just an abundance of copied contracts onto the network. We want to work with people that are capable of innovating and pushing this technology further. Now, as far as forking our chain, we are going to more than likely make that available to some degree. There's probably going to need to be some degree of changing to it, but we will be able to make that available. The developers are going to have to know Rust. So if they do not know Rust, they're going to have to get with our team in order to, make those forks happen. And what we're hoping to do with the network that we are building is actually push the developers' knowledge base up a step further. We would love to see a lot of these developers coming in and starting to use something as complicated as Rust, because what we do know, most people that are running scams, that are initiating scams, things of that nature, they're not going to put that type of work into educations or developing those types of projects. So if we can raise the bar just a little bit, I think we can really nip it in the butt with a lot of the scams and a lot of things that the space is dealing with right now. So yeah, we're looking at really tackling a lot of these different variables. And we do hope with the blockchain that we are attempting to bring to market, if we can, in fact, raise the funding to get this to market, that we are able to start working with a lot of these layer 2 developers and help them push their own knowledge base to better themselves, to really start looking at our network and these different types of coding languages that are much more efficient to really start pushing this technology a step further. Because at the end of the day, if we achieve the feat that we want to, if we are able to grow total crypto market capitalization, we are going to be needing that type of power and that transaction speed. So it's going to have to happen in order for the crypto space to grow. So somebody kind of has to take the reins and make that happen. Somebody kind of has to get away from the Solidity type of languages and push it even further if we as a industry want to grow. So we are going to be here, Alicia, to really just be here to help a lot of these developers, whether that be forking, whether that be developing a smart contract, adapt, whatever the case may be on the network. We are definitely going to be here to assist these individuals to get them going.
Got it. Thank you for the detailed answer. So moving to my next question. You mentioned that one will be able to create roster of the cryptocurrencies to enter fantasy tournaments. I was wondering that what maximum number of cryptocurrencies will one be able to select?
Yeah, so with the fantasy crypto, the roster that you are going to build is 10 cryptos. So you get 10 spots to choose 10 different cryptos. When you guys do come into the fantasy crypto, you're going to notice that there is a main roster, main master list. Those are the most common cryptocurrencies that are used, that have the most volume. However, the fantasy crypto is set up to, even if you have a contract, you're going to be able to add that crypto onto your roster. So if the crypto is not in the main list, if it's not on search, all you have to do is go grab the contract address, add that contract address, and then the system is actually going to list that in the main master profile. So as you guys are building out these rosters, the system is gathering data and keeping track of all this stuff.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you for answering all my questions.
Aisha, you're welcome.
Thank you for the questions, Aisha. Let's move to Benish. You had a question for Brian at Radius Protocol. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Glenn. Actually, I wanted to know that do you guys have any reserved pool to buy back during the time period when Defcon is triggered to give hope to the investors? And if the Defcon is triggered, do you have anything in place to notify your every investor so that they don't get frustrated if they try to sell their tokens and get an error, or they can't do it?
Yeah, Venice. So with the NFT scalping system that we have developed, the main purpose for the leases and offering that type of utility with the NFTs to the community was so that the project can raise passive monthly income. Now, it's a dual-fold strategy. We're going to be able to use that income for multiple things. We're going to be able to use it to develop, to further the project. But there's going to be a lot of times where we're going to have some excess capital laying around. And when those DEFCONs do trigger, if there is too much panic, the team's going to be watching what is happening in the market, what are the conditions, what are the dynamics, what's everybody panicking on. We're going to be able to step up a lot of the times and do those buybacks, right? We're going to be able to be there to help create that support if the price is going to need it. Now, what we would love to see, nothing more, is when people are utilizing the NFT scalpers and they're pulling those reflections in from the scalping pool, and their NFTs are pulling those reflections in, there's not a whole lot of selling. We're hoping that a lot of individuals are actually collecting these tokens and being smart with them. That's the main reason why we have decided to charge just slightly higher prices. They're not super expensive for all of them, but they're high enough to where just a lot of the weaker hands are probably not going to be utilizing the NFT scalpers. And that's what we wanted. With great power comes great responsibility. And that's what these NFT scalpers are doing. They're actually giving the community a lot of power. So we want that in the hands of responsible holders. And if we can see that we have those responsible holders and we don't have a lot of selling pressure, that one is going to give us a little more revenue to market, to develop, to produce. And in the event that price selling might get out of check a little bit, we can also be there on the back end to help support that price as well. So it's really a beautiful system that works just lovely together.
Okay, that's really awesome. And I also read about your copyright clause, and you also mentioned about it, which will protect the contracts of projects. So I want to know basically how will your copyright clause work, because it is possible that legit project owners can get an idea from a different project or copy some of the code, not all of the code, or some snippet or some little code from the project to which they are forked or inspired. So how will it basically work, and what things it will see?
Yeah, so we have a few ideas of how we're going to initiate this type of clause. One way is doing by a percentage basis, so that the system, when it looks at different contracts, it knows where that coding is at, and it looks for a certain percentage of the contract that has been changed. So that's one way that we could do it. So that it's not an identical replica of somebody else's contract. Usually when we're looking at, copyright of art and things of that nature, there has to be a certain percentage of it changed up in order to not be a copyright type of violation. So that's one way that we are looking at doing that. So there's a few other things that we are looking at and still in research on how to pull this off to where it's going to be most effective, fair for the layer 2 developers that are coming in, right? We want development. We do. I mean, we really want development. We want raw development. We want innovation. We want the right type of developers. What we don't want to see happening is somebody take a contract off of any type of network and then be able to come over ours and just paste it, boom, launch. That's what we're trying to get away from. Most of these scammers and the guys that are just up to no good and have foul intentions, bad actors in the space, they are not developers. They are grabbing contracts, copying and pasting. It's very easy to do. If we have some kind of copyright clause, even if there's slight changes that need to be made, it's going to take some skill in order to deploy on our network. And with that skill, chances are that there's going to be a lot less of those types of situations to deal with. So we definitely want to get away from what's going on in the BSC space, what's running rapid over there. So we really want to build the cleanest, most sophisticated, advanced type of network that is supported and backed by other very sophisticated, oriented, logical individuals that have good intentions for the space. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, what we really want. We want to bring skill and power and strength together.
Okay, that's awesome. And I also want to know about a Geocache wallet. This is really a unique idea. I have never read about it. And so, will you guys give the secret phrase words yourself to the winners? Like all of the 12 words you will drop down to the winners, or you will give randomly some of the words, and people need to crack the phrases themselves and try different combinations to unlock the wallet.
Yeah, so Venice, the keywords for the Geocache wallet, just like the NFT collection that's in the staking mechanism, they're added in there tier by tier by tier by tier. So the system, the staking mechanism, is actually designed to randomly draw. It does its own calculations, draws its own thing. The team has absolutely nothing to do with who either gets an NFT or who gets a Geocache wallet. That is strictly Radius, just doing a random draw for everybody. So yeah, but to break it down a little further, we will give you guys what keyword that is. So, whether that's keyword number 1, keyword number 8, 7, whatever the case may be. But the name of the game and the goal of the game for that Geocache wallet is first person to get all 12, first team to get all 12. That Geocache wallet is now yours to crack and transfer out. So as soon as we see the transfer happen, we will create a brand new Geocache wallet and we'll start the process over. And it's pretty cool that 1% of every single sale is going to be reflected to that Geocache wallet. So going to be a very, very happy individual or very happy community when that wallet does get cracked. I do anticipate that it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's really interesting to have just this type of community treasure chest Geocache wallet. It's never been done before. It's just another way for our project and our company to thank you guys for supporting the project and staking your token. We absolutely love when people stake. It is such a good thing for the ecosystem. Pulls them out of circulation. They can't be sold. It helps to stabilize price. It shows a ton of support. Believe it or not, the development team, when we see a lot of people staking, it is really a big boost for our confidence levels when we start seeing those types of things. So staking is a wonderful thing to do for the community. And, there's a lot of value for you guys to stake your Radius when we do go live.
Okay, and one last question from my side. I was reading about your blockchain, and it has multiple features, and you are trying to solve the problems that a current blockchain has. So I was wondering, is it possible for people to see what's in your wallet? If no, then does it mean there won't be any history saved for the transactions between people? And sometimes people will need to send the transaction proof to other people as well. So how will it will work?
So the privacy feature that we are looking to implement, we are trying to do a few things. We're still in research with this. Now we do know for a fact that we can create a private network. That is not an issue whatsoever. However, we want to be able to tailor to both sides of the equation. So we want to be able to allow kind of a open ledger type of technology, but the second that somebody wants to utilize the privacy feature, that certain things are going to be masked, so wallets cannot be tracked fully. The transaction, right, the amount that's transacted will be able to be seen, but the wallet that is behind it is going to be anonymous. So it's very similar to a pseudo-anonymous type of network with a different type of twist. So we want to be able to kind of take a look at a lot of these different variables and tailor to as many people as we possibly can. So we're still doing a lot of research on this, and we're still trying to find the most effective way, the cleanest way, and the best way to really tailor to both sides of the equation. So as we get further along in research, we're going to have a lot more answers. But right now, we're still very much in the beginning phases of looking at a lot of things. We do have a ton of solutions for a lot of the limitations. And if the only thing we brought to the table was just developing our network in Rust, and that's all we did, well, that would be one of the fastest networks out there, the most efficient, cheapest networks out there. I mean, that would almost be good enough, but for us, that is not enough. We want to really take a look at a lot of these other obstacles. And unfortunately, because a lot of this stuff has not been done yet, it requires an intense amount of research, an intense amount of testing. So, guys, if we don't have the exact answers right now, please understand that we are still in research for a lot of these different variables and solutions that we do want to bring to market. I am confident there's a lot of these things that we're going to be able to tackle. And if we can tackle a couple of these, I mean, they are absolute game changers. So we will continue to push to research, and we'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And at the end of the day, we know that our team is going to be able to just create an extremely amazing ecosystem.
Okay, thank you so much for answering all my questions. You guys really have unique and new features. God bless you, and thanks.
Venice, thank you.
Thank you for the questions, Venice. Let's move on to Western Beast. You had a question for Brian at Radius Protocol. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Hey, Brian. Great project, great AMA session so far. Most of the questions I have in mind have been answered. But one of the statements that caught my attention was the fact that you said you want to partner with most of the major blockchain concepts, like the likes of AVAX and Sol, with most of these problems you said you want to solve. So let's assume that you went with your team presenting, and they asked you which of these problems have you solved presently, or which one are you closest to solving. Which one would you most likely present to this major blockchain firm?
That is a very, very good question, and you are absolutely correct. Our goal with this project, it's not to compete with other networks. We are wanting to become an acting bridge and allowing other networks to come together to share our designs, our patented technology, things of that nature. So we are going to be able to generate a lot of volume just from our reach advantage if we can, in fact, develop that type of technology that we are looking to develop. We're going to gain the initial volume. There's absolutely no damage when it comes to allowing other networks to bridge into us, so that these individuals that are offline, that don't have internet access, they also have access to other networks through us. So we're this acting bridge. So that alone is going to be a complete eyebrow raiser when it comes to all these networks, because they're going to know how many people we are going to have the ability to tap into that they cannot. 3.7 billion people is a lot of people. We're talking extreme numbers. Even if the network was only able to gain something like 0.01% of that, it's still a very vast number. So that is really what we are going to be tailoring to, and that's how we're going to be approaching a lot of these other networks, is the technology that we are developing, what needs to be done going forward. And we know if we can partner with a few of these networks that believe in the vision, the innovation, if they fully understand what we're trying to do and what it means for the space, we know that we're going to have not only some back funding that we're going to need, we're going to have the support of their communities as well. Because like I said, at the end of the day, our goal is not to compete. We don't want to compete with anybody. We're really tired of seeing this, we're at war, this network versus this network. The magic happens when skills come together, when strength comes together, and people start working together. That is when mountains are moved. And we want to be in that place to where we can really start bringing all these networks together. We don't have to be at war with each other. We don't have to compete. we can all sit down and really push this technology and this space to amazing places if we choose to.
Great answer, Brian. I also personally believe that if people work together, they can actually achieve more and they can be closer to success. My second and final question is about the wallet that is going to be released for the winners. Don't you think there's a slight probability that the rest of the letters can actually be guessed? I mean, I calculated the number of permutations. While it is still plenty, there's still a slight probability that the rest of the words could be guessed. Don't you think that this poses a threat somehow?
Are you asking about the Geocache wallet key phrase words?
Yes, that.
Well, it's going to be very, very difficult for somebody to guess all of the words. Even if you had all 11, it's in some kind of system that you were running. If you had some kind of software that is running, and clearing that through your wallet, it would still take a vast amount of time. So we're not too concerned about people cracking a wallet that type of way. I mean, keywords are very, very safe as long as other people don't have them, right? I mean, that's the whole idea behind it. But there's also a lot of names, a lot of words, a lot of different things in the languages. So it's very difficult to crack that type of technology. So, without having almost every single keyword, it's going to be almost impossible. So it might be easier if you had 11, but I don't think the probabilities of doing that is very good, even if you had 10 of the keywords.
All right, Brian. I just actually remembered something. It's about the programming language that you use. I actually thought about it, and it's actually going to make it a lot more efficient. But wouldn't there be compatibility issues when you use the multiple programming language to write the smart contract?
So there's always going to be some pros and cons. And I mean, that's with everything that we do in life. The pros with using a much more sophisticated type of language, a complex language like Rust, definitely without a doubt outweighs the cons. Now, the cons are it's complex, right? And there's not a lot of people that understand the coding language to the effectiveness that we're going to need. That's the downside of a complex language like this. However, we can change that, right? Going forward, if we raise the bar, if we raise the standard, eventually Rust is going to be just the norm language, right? Everything advances, everything grows, everything pushes forward. So we're getting to the point in crypto, we have to take the reins to build out these more sophisticated type of layer one blockchains. Because at the end of the day, if we don't, we're going to continue to have the same issues. And the larger the crypto space gets, the more compounded those issues are going to become. Ethereum is a prime example. I mean, Ethereum is a beautiful network. Solidity is a beautiful language. And in the beginning, it really was just very efficient, and gas fees were low and a lot lower than they are now. But now we've gotten to the point where the network has really outpaced and outgrown itself. This is what happens when you grow too far too fast and you're not keeping up with fundamental needs and things of that nature of networks or really any business logic. We start to see these compound issues, and that's exactly what's going on with the Ethereum network. So we need to learn from that, and instead of taking all these other networks, forking Ethereum and just building another network, we need to really look at what is causing these issues, these bottleneck effects, and we know what it is. It's just going to take somebody that is passionate enough, innovative enough, and is willing to take the time to write a layer one in a much more cleaner language, to do things a little bit differently. It's going to take a team that is willing to work with other layer two developers in order to build on the network. If we can do that, I think we start a brand new fad And the end of the fad is going to be a much more advanced, sophisticated type of industry. And we have to get there if we want to keep growing, right? If we don't keep growing, if we keep plateauing, eventually we're going to start losing much more market capitalization. So we have to keep pushing. That's the thing with innovation. We're always pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. So we need to find more innovators in the space. We need to find a lot of people that are solution oriented and not just trying to fork other networks. Forking solves nothing. Anybody can fork, right? We can fork, we can maybe throw a few different logics in there, try to run things a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, we're still going to have those foundational issues because, again, the network is still in a solidity form. So we really want to push this industry as far as we possibly can. And that's really what we are trying to do. That is why we are going through so much trouble in trying to develop our layer one with a much more complex type of language, because at the end of the day, it's really worth it. The efficiency that we're going to be able to get out of that, this transaction speed, the low gas fees, and just overall network performance is not going to be able to be touched. Definitely not by a Solidity network.
Brian, I really, really appreciate all your answers to my questions. A few more questions while we'll be generated when I still go through your white paper, and I'll be asking them in your Telegram group. I really wish you guys the best, and I hope you stay bullish moonward. Over to you, Glenn.
Thank you for the questions, Venice. Yeah, I was wondering there, Brian, with you were saying about the 3 billion people that aren't connected to the internet, how I don't quite understand how you're going to connect with them if they can't connect with the internet. I know, like, the Raspberry Pi opened up more at such a low cost to developing countries, and undersea cables have opened it up to developing countries, the internet as well, for people to access it. Maybe you could just elaborate on that a bit.
Yeah, Glenn. So we really have a couple of very good ideas and how to make this happen. It's very complex in order to do it, and it's the reason that it has not been done yet. But in order to grow market capitalization, we have to start branching out. We can't let limitations like lack of internet access affect our destiny, right? We can't let that affect how we progress. There are ways to do this. We know that it can be done. It might be complex, it might be complicated, yes, but it can be done at the end of the day. So we're still researching a lot of these different variables, breaking a lot of things down. And unfortunately, we are under NDA, so we can't get into, direct conversation about exactly what that technology looks like at this point. Now, when we do have the package deal and we do have that patented technology, we can then start sharing what we have done. Now, we do know that we have a good chance to get there. We just have to really get the grind of the axe and really start breaking down how to make this work. So we have our back-end developers, we have our world-class layer one blockchain architect, and we also have various engineers from various fields coming together and working together to really make this a reality. And I do know that we have a very good shot at making something like this happen, because I have seen in certain instances something kind of similar take place. It has not happened in the crypto space yet, but I know that the technology can be modified and completely adapted to a blockchain type of technology. So lots of research has already gone into this, and at the end of the day, if we can bring this to market, it is going to be an absolute game changer for the entire space.
Okay, awesome, Brian. Yeah, I do know, with the cost of technology coming down, I mean, developing countries leapfrogged, having to have a landline to connect to the internet with a smartphone coming in 2007 with Steve Jobs and the iPhone. So that opened up, where not as much energy was needed, and people didn't need a landline. So, India and China, it just, exploded people onto the internet. So in the future, hopefully, the cost and Raspberry Pi was only like $30, $40 to connect to the internet. I know a laptop where you could use pedals to run it as well with energy, which was really a cool idea. Very small laptop, and into developing countries that have energy problems, you know, they don't always have 24/7 electricity, and yeah, so there's lots of innovative ideas in the future to expand it to everyone. It's been great speaking to you today, Brian, from Radius Protocol. You've got a huge project there, lots of utility, and the blockchain you're planning in the future, which is going to be awesome. You know, a layer one blockchain. Yeah, so it's been great for our investors to listen to you today, and to us and our investors and community. Thank you very much for coming. I think we've got spin the wheel. I think Acti will be doing that as well. Two $50 winners for everyone that joined the call today.
Yep, Glenn. Let me get my share screen up here. And we got everybody's names, and we're gonna do 2 spins for 2 lucky winners for $50. I'll shuffle it around and I'll get our winners. And yeah, as always, guys, Whalecoin Talk AMAs are for research and educational purposes. So you really do need to do your own research and to see if this is something you like, if this is something that interests you, if this is something you can get behind. And that's the reason why we have the chat locked right there. We have all the official links. You can visit the website. There's a lot of information. We've spoken about a lot of the utilities and the features here, but as usual, we try to keep it at a high level. So if you're interested in more how the technology works, how all the integrations come together, and everything like this, please join the Telegram. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to hear from you and to answer any and all of your questions. So thank you everybody for coming today, and thank you to the Radius Protocol for putting this in front of our community. It really is something new and something fresh, and to have people build something exciting even in these market conditions, you know, it really says something about the team and the vision they have in place. So thank you very much for coming today, guys. It's really been awesome.
Guys, thanks for having us. Absolute pleasure meeting your community. And if you guys have any questions, if you need anything, you all are more than welcome to come over to our community. We'd love to chit chat.
Great coming, Brian, yeah, that you came here today. And I'll finish the recording and send a copy over for you to share with your community. I'll send that into our main chat as well for anyone in our community to listen back to. And yeah, it's been great speaking and a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming, and take care.
Take care, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks for having us. Nice weekend.